Hi, this is Jonathan Rosenhead, the Jerusalem psychotherapist. So this week's Torah and Psychology post is obviously going to focus on Purim, and we can't ignore the significance of what's happening at the moment in Eretz Yisrael, and the timing of fighting with Persia, fighting with Iran, and remembering and creating this link, this constant link of what our enemies, Amalek, or any of our enemies try to do to bring down the Am Yisrael, to defeat us. We can see that the Kadosh Baruch Hu is there to save us, just as the Kadosh Baruch Hu is there to save us during the Purim story. Although behind the scenes, so too the reality that we live in nowadays is not necessarily a time of open miracles, but we can gain strength from the fact that we see that the Kadosh Baruch Hu is always there, and the knowledge and the emunah that the Kadosh Baruch Hu is there to save us. But it's still, if we understand, going through these periods of times can still be terrifying. It's scary. It can be traumatizing. And this is what we can try to develop and understand from a point of view of reading about Amalek just yesterday on Shabbos, and also preparing for Purim. We are engaging with the story of Purim. We're remembering, and we're told this mitzvah of Michias Amalek. In a way ambiguous, quite confusing. It's paradoxical that we're told on the one hand to remember in order to wipe out, which, if we put it together, remembering something and trying to forget it or try to, wipe out the memory, is a paradigm of trauma, something which we want to forget, or we try to maybe suppress, and we want to try and forget about it, but we can't. And a traumatic memory is something that comes up again, and it seizes our attention. It takes over our memories and our emotional understanding. And trauma is something which, however hard we try, maybe we don't want to remember it. We get stuck into this loop of always having it, and it's there, and we're being reminded of it. So if we could take this idea of Amalek and what we're told of the mitzvah of Amalek, it's like the paradigm of trauma. But significantly, as the Minchas Chinuch discusses, although the mitzvah of remembering Amalek could be perhaps seen as a constant mitzvah, or it could be added and included to the sheish mitzvahs tamidios, the 6 constant mitzvahs that we have. The Minchas Chinuch suggests that there's always a mitzvah to remember Amalek. But, as you said, we don't need to have this constant engagement, active engagement with the memory of Amalek. But rather, once or twice during the year, as we said, we read about Amalek. That is enough, that's sufficient to remember that we won't forget what Amalek did to us. This is a memory that we have. It's a significant traumatic and time that we went through, and we're not going to just forget about it, but it's important to be able to, in a way, compartmentalize it and say that we can give time to think about it, give time to remember. We can read about it once, twice during the year. We have a specific minhag that's developed, or there's perhaps the Araisa, to read the minhag Torah, to read the Parsha of Amalek on Purim and the connection with Purim. So we have certain times where we do dedicate and give devoted time and energy to remember and to connect with what happened with Amalek. But that's not because it's traumatic. As we said, perhaps we can even say that having a constant reading of Amalek every single day would perhaps be within the model of trauma that we can't escape. We have to be always constantly engaged and alert of what's happening and what Amalek did to us. What the Minchas Chinuch is saying, and the way that the mitzvah is created, it's constructed that we don't need to have this constant engagement, but we just need to read about it. We can give ourselves time once, twice, 3 times during the year, and that keeps alive the connection and understanding of what Amalek did to us, and helps the traumatic processing and even the post-traumatic growth. But it doesn't necessarily require a constant connection. Perhaps you could say, like the remembering Yetziat Mitzrayim, which we do have a mitzvah. We do read about it every single day because that's intrinsic to our existence and our connection to Torah and mitzvahs. We want to have that constant connection, but in a traumatic or a therapeutic way, we don't need that constant connection and reading about Amalek every single day. As the Minchas Chinuch says, just reading about it a few times will keep that memory alive, which will create a positive and a healthy connection of remembering Amalek, a post-traumatic growth of knowing and recognizing what Amalek tried to do to us, and connecting to that on Purim, and especially now on this with the battle that's happening, the war that's happening with Iran at the moment. We want to put things into the correct order, and to understand when and how to devote our emotional and cognitive efforts and energy, At this time, we are living through a difficult time again, obviously, with the war with Iran. We should try to work on not being overwhelmed by our emotions, but try to put things in order, to understand that when there's a siren, we know what to do. We know how to. It's important to try and get as much sleep as possible, because we are suffering from sleep deprivation at the moment. So understanding of how to respond at the moment whilst we are in this difficult, and say this is the time to act and be engaged and be alert. But if we look at from the bigger picture of throughout the year, we don't want to be in this constant state of trauma, constant state of fear. But as time will go on, and these days will come to an end again with this battle, the war with Iran, and we can go back and we can see how this develops into post-traumatic growth. That's how we can put these events that we are experiencing at the moment, what happened in Purim so many years ago, the timing of the war at the moment, and we're about to celebrate Purim again, and reading about the Amalek, it puts everything into perspective of how to develop a healthy approach to difficult and scary events, things that can put a person into a state of fear, and how to develop and it can process into a post-traumatic growth, which is what we can celebrate on Purim. Purim is a celebration of post-traumatic growth. So hopefully we will have quiet days very soon here in Eretz Yisrael, where we see peace to the Medina, to the land, to the whole of to the whole of Am Yisrael as well, and we'll celebrate Purim with the understanding that this is our growth, this is our emunah, this is the Kadosh Baruch Hu saving us. And just as then, so too now, there will be like Yehudim Ha'Yisrael, Ayra Simcha Sasam Yika. Have a good Purim Sameach, and keep well.